you find yourself being confused by your wife's words? Do her actions seem to frustrate you? Do you feel resentment because you feel like you've done everything that you're supposed to do in order to have a happy life, a happy marriage, to be in partnership with your wife? You feel like she's not doing what she's supposed to do. In fact, you can't even get her to maybe open up and tell you what's going on and what's wrong, because in your mind, you're willing to do whatever it takes to fix it. Hi, I'm Charlie McKeever, your Happy Man coach, and in 2018, I felt that same way. I was confused, I was frustrated, I was resentful. I found myself at some point separated. I was living in an unfurnished 2-bedroom apartment. We had a house in Austin. I lived 10 minutes from the family home, and I found myself laying on a blow-up air mattress, staring at the ceiling, asking myself at 46 years old, how did I get here? I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, and still here I am laying in this unfurnished 2-bedroom apartment by myself. What happened? And so what I've learned since then has brought me peace. It's improved my marriage. It's improved my relationship with my wife. It's given me the understanding that I needed, that I wish I had had back then, that I needed in order to get to this place today where I am calm and confident and grounded and making this video for you, sitting in the park in the same neighborhood where we initially had that divorce conversation in 2018. So what did I learn? What was it that changed for me? Well, one of the things that I was doing was I was projecting onto her. I'd come up with some ideas about how I thought things were supposed to go, with the way I thought she was supposed to think, the way I thought she was supposed to behave, and I had projected that onto her. All while trying to get her to be who I wanted her to be, to do what I wanted her to do for my comfort, so that I would feel okay, that I would feel safe, that I would feel connected and loved and appreciated and respected, and we would have this relationship that I wanted. And when she didn't act that way, when she didn't say the things that I wanted to hear, it felt like that it felt confusing. It felt frustrating. And we were in this place where we couldn't hear each other. And what I learned was that there's no way for us to know what really is going on in another person's mind. I mean, half the time, do you even really fully understand yourself? Do you really fully understand your own mind, what you're thinking, what you're wanting, how you feel about those things? Most of the men that I talk to initially don't. I didn't know really clearly what I thought about things and how my thoughts about those things made me feel, and how my feelings pushed me around. I didn't understand this chain reaction that takes place inside of us. What I knew was that I had an idea of how I thought things were supposed to go, and she wasn't playing her part. She wasn't reading from the script. She wasn't giving her lines on cue. And that confused me and frustrated me and made me feel resentful. And what I've come to understand is that a person's mind is a very complicated place, and the only thing that we can really know for sure is what they say and what they do, their words and their actions. And what's most important is that their actions are in alignment with their words, that whatever they say they're going to do, they actually do, because the words part is abstract. The words part is theoretical. The action part is concrete. The action part is real world reality. When something actually happens, it goes from just being an idea into being something that's practical, something that's come into being. And so this is the part where we can trust, when we see with our own eyes what's actually happening versus what we're being told, or what our expectations are, unmet expectations are. We can see what's really going on. And so we want a person's actions to match their words. And in order for us to be able to trust that, it has to be consistent. It has to be consistent over time. It has to be in alignment with what they said. There has to be a certain integrity, a certain continuity throughout, a consistency that it's not sometimes, it's not occasionally, that it's consistent. And this is really important in our relationship with other people, but it's also important in our relationship with ourselves. That yes, we want another person's words, we want the other person's actions to match their words, and it's really important that our actions match our words. It's really important that we get the clarity about what it is that we think about things, what we value, what's important to us. That our words state that clarity for ourselves, that we say what it is that we know to be true for ourselves, and then we act upon it in ways in order to support those words, to support those thoughts. And so when we're in this place of dependency, external dependency, when we're looking to her, we want her to be a certain way. We want her words to match our idea of how things are supposed to go. We want her actions to match up to her words and to our expectations. When we're in this place, this is a place where we have a lot of opportunity to be disappointed, to be confused, to be resentful, to be hurt. But when we start saying, okay, what do I think about that? When we start getting clarity about our thoughts, when we start getting clarity about what it is that we state we want, when we start to look at our actions to see if our actions are in alignment with our words, if we have integrity, consistency, continuity, if we have what we need in order to make choices and decisions for ourselves, then we move from a place of dependency, a move from a place of feeling powerless into a place of ownership, of self-ownership, that we actually start to get clear for ourselves about what we want, what we think, what we agree to, what we commit to, what we act upon. And then from that place, we invite her to join us. We invite her to join us. We invite her to join us on this adventure that we're going on in life, this life that we've been given, that we're creating for ourselves, that we are defining by our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And when we do that, then we stop being confused by her. We stop being frustrated with her. We stop being resentful of her, because we start owning ourselves and we start saying, oh, okay, well, wait a minute. If this person's words and actions don't align, then what do I think about that? What do I choose to do about that? Do I choose to just be okay with that? Do I choose to agree to that? Do I choose to stay with that? Do I choose to be upset about that, hurt about that? What do I choose to think and feel and do about that? And so this is what I'd learned. This is what I've learned, that when we own ourself, then we stop putting so much emphasis on the other person. We stop needing them to be a certain way. We stop needing them to say certain words. We stop needing them to do certain things, because now what we do is we get really clear about who we are and what we want and where we're going and what we're doing and who we're spending time with, who we're inviting into our life. And if something isn't in alignment, if something doesn't match up, then we can make a new choice for ourselves. And that new choice may be something that's uncomfortable initially, but long term, it is in alignment with who we are, who we want to be, what we value, what we say, what we do. And we're no longer waiting for that other person. We're no longer upset with that other person. In fact, we learn to accept where that person is, and we say, oh, okay, maybe they're not capable. Maybe they're not willing. Maybe they don't want to. No, maybe they're not in a place. Maybe they don't even understand their own mind. Maybe they're in a place where they have cognitive friction, where they're in conflict with themselves. They say one thing, but then they do another. And when we observe that enough over time, we say, oh, okay, I see what's going on. And then we make a new choice for ourselves. So this is what helps me. It's what is helping me. It's what I use every day, even when I'm talking with my wife, talking with my kids, talking with the men that I work with, talking with friends, talking with strangers, that I stop trying to overlay and project onto them who I think they should be, what I think they should say, what I think they should do. And I start owning myself, and I start asking myself, what do I want? What do I think about this? What do I feel about that? What do I choose? What is my choice? What am I going to do in order to support my thoughts and desires. And this puts us in a place of empowerment, and it changes the nature of our relationship. It stops us from being clingy, dependent, needy, from putting pressure on her, from being frustrated and upset with her. Because I gotta tell you, being frustrated and upset with somebody especially your wife, is the worst love letter ever, right? Dear lover, you disappoint me. Let's have sex. Signed, your loving husband. It's a terrible thing. The non-acceptance there. I love you, but it'd be great if you were a little bit different. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So we have to come to this place where we start acknowledging who is actually standing in front of us, what is actually really going on, and we start owning ourselves to the degree that we can start making choices for ourselves and know that we're not choiceless, we're not powerless, and we're not dependent. That changes our relationship with ourselves, it changes our relationship with life, and it changes our relationship with our wife, our girlfriend, our partner, whatever label you want to give that other person that's in your life. All right, that's what I have to share with you today. Thanks for being here, brother. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.